Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim's Special Edition. My name is Camel, but more excitingly, however, welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Detective Series. It's a series in which we investigate, curate, speculate, hypothesize, theorize, and quite often simply highlight and discuss interesting, mysterious, and hidden things that can be found within the Elder Scrolls games. Today we will delve deep into a questionable and ponderous conundrum that I'd imagine all of us Skyrim players have had to face. One of the more ambiguous quests in the game, and one which we are burdened with within the first few hours of gameplay. That being, who is telling the truth and who is lying between Saadia, the sweet summer child, protecting her homeland, or the traitorous scum who sold out her people, and Kematu, honorable Alik'r warrior seeking justice for the betrayal of his homeland, or Thalmor agent hired to assassinate an innocent girl. Both characters have seemingly suspicious backstories and both point the finger at the other and provide entirely differing explanations and descriptions of one another and themselves. It's quite a hard decision to be faced with so early on in the game, but I do believe I have found the answer to who is telling the truth and who is the traitorous liar. Now, if this kind of stuff interests you, be sure to check out my other Elder Scrolls detective videos that I've already done. They can be found down in the description via the Elder Scrolls detective playlist link. Now, down there in the description, you can also find all of my social media links. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, along with joining our brand new Discord server that I've made for our community, that being me and you, where we can further discuss what we're about to delve into. I look forward to seeing you there after this video, of course. So, much like a deep sea creature, let's get cracking, shall we? And now at the start of the game, while wandering and exploring the vast and plentiful wildernesses of Skyrim, we may run across this encounter. These two Alik'r warriors hassling this seemingly unsuspecting Redguard woman.
We know who you are.
Help!
So you'd better come with us right now.
I don't know who you think I am and I don't care. Leave me alone.
I don't have time for this foolishness. Now come along quietly and we won't have to get rough. Brother, I think she's telling the truth.
I'm not going anywhere. Now back off before I do something drastic.
She doesn't have the scar.
Someone do something!
What? Oh, you're right. We've made a mistake. Now move along before that mouth of yours gets you into trouble.
Next time you're looking to pester someone, make sure it's the right person.
I'm getting out of here. What do you need?
Who are you looking for?
We're looking for information about a woman, a foreigner in these lands. She's a Redguard like us. We believe she may be hiding in Whiterun, but we're checking everywhere to be sure.
Interesting.
Foreigners. What a nuisance.
I thought you were a Redguard. You were speaking like a true daughter of Skyrim. And what is it that they wanted?
They thought I was some other Redguard woman. They just wouldn't leave me alone. I hope they get lost in the wilderness.
Seems like when it comes to other people's privacy, they have no Redguards.
Until next time.
I don't plan to ever see you again. So, an interesting little scuffle. Maybe we should check Whiterun and see what we can find.
Look, you already have been told you're not allowed here. Turn around and go back the way you came.
We're causing no trouble. All we ask is to look for her.
I don't care what you're doing. After what happened, you're lucky I don't toss you in jail. Now get lost.
We will be back. This is not over. You there. We're looking for someone in Whiterun, and we'll pay good money for information.
Who are you looking for?
A woman, a foreigner in these lands. Redguard, like us. She is likely not using her true name. We will pay for any information regarding her location. We are not welcome here in Whiterun, so we will be in Rorikstead if you learn anything.
Well, they sacrifice women in Rorikstead, so I wouldn't look there. Video above for more. So, who are you looking for exactly?
We're looking for a fugitive who comes from Hammerfell. A Redguard woman. She may be somewhere in this city.
Why are you looking for her? She steal your sweet roll?
It's none of your concern. All you need to know is that we're paying for information. If that doesn't interest you, feel free to walk away. If you locate her, find us in Rorikstead.
Interesting. There sure are a lot of Alik'r warriors around here looking for this woman. Ah, well, given I'm an alcoholic, let's head to the Bannered Mare and grab a drink while we mull this over.
Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere?
The only mug around here is you.
Saadia, wake up there.
Yes, Mum.
Yes, Saadia. Jesus, who's Saadia?
What can I get you?
One Redguard woman, please.
You want a drink?
Whoa, now that's service. I'm thirsty for some jugs, but it's got nothing to do with drinks. What's on the menu?
Depends. Are you thirsty? Hungry? Both.
Definitely both. Ah, I see you're a salty woman, but I'm not interested. Maybe you can help me in another way.
All right then. Need something?
Yes, I do actually. Did you know some Alik'r warriors are looking for a Redguard woman? And they mentioned a scar just like yours.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Oh no. They found me? I need your help, please. Come with me. I need to speak to you privately. Quickly, come with me.
Sure thing. So now we follow Saadia back to her bedroom. With her permission, of course, there's nothing sus going on here.
So, are you working with them? You think you can take me? You so much as touch me and you're going to lose fingers. I mean it. I'll cut you in half. So the Alik'r know where I am? What did they offer you? Gold? How many more of them are coming? Tell me.
Put down the butter knife before you get another scar.
I'm sorry. Just don't hurt me. I know you're not one of them, but you just can't help them. You can't let them know I'm here. Please, will you help me? There's no one here I can trust.
It depends. What do you want?
I am not the person that the people of Whiterun think I am. My real name is Iman. I am a noble of House Suda in Hammerfell. The men who are looking for me, the Alik'r, they are assassins in the employ of the Aldmeri Dominion. They wish to exchange my blood for gold. I need you to root them out and drive them away before they find me and drag me back to Hammerfell for an execution.
Whoa, you just said a lot. There better be money involved.
There will be. Of that, you can be assured.
And how am I supposed to get rid of them?
They're mercenaries, only in it for the money. They're led by a man named Kematu. Get rid of him, and the rest will scatter. I don't dare show my face, lest they recognize me, so you'll have to find out where they are.
So stalk the stalkers who stalked me to stalk you. I mean, so far there's more stalks than in a bloody cornfield. Where can I find them?
I heard one of them was just arrested trying to sneak into the city. If he's locked up in the jail, perhaps you can get it out of him. Please, I know I'm asking you to do something difficult, maybe even dangerous. I just don't know who else I can trust.
Yeah, of course. You can definitely trust me, for sure. So, why are the Alik'r after you?
I don't know for sure. I spoke out against the Aldmeri Dominion publicly. I suspect that's why these men were hired to hunt me down.
Oh, the Aldmeri Dominion that has no influence in Hammerfell. Why not go to the guards?
You think I'd be in hiding if this was something I trusted town guards to handle? These men are ruthless, cunning, deceitful. They'll pay off whoever they can. I can't trust anyone here in Whiterun. Guards and Jarls can be bought. And the Alik'r are close. I'm running out of time, so I'm choosing to trust you.
Okay, I'll go and suss this out.
Find me the moment the Alik'r are taken care of.
So now we will want to head up to the Cloud District of Whiterun. Ah, Nazim would be so damn proud of us. Now up here, over in the exterior corner of the ground level of the castle, we can find the Whiterun dungeons. Inside the first cell within, we'll find our man.
What are you looking at?
Why, I'm looking at you, you sandy goose. I need to find Kematu. Where is he hiding?
You have a death wish then? If you know that name, you must know to meet him would be to meet your end. But it seems we both have needs, friend. Perhaps we can help each other out.
And what is it that you need, besides a shower?
I have dishonored my brothers by being captured, and so they have left me here. My life with the Alik'r is over now, but I have no wish to die in this god's forsaken land. If I can be released from prison, I may start over. See to that, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
Why did they leave you here? 'Cause you stink? And yes, you do stink.
because I was clumsy enough to be captured. Kematu always says, we're supposed to be the best of the best. I wasn't.
How much is this fine you and your silly doings have accrued?
100 gold will secure my release. You can afford that, can't you? I suppose you'd better hope you can, if you want the information. Get the money into the hands of one of these guards, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
Okay.
Good day.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
You're about to get one in the neck if you don't start helping me out here. I'm here to pay that prisoner's fine.
Done. Convince him to stay out of the city while you're at it.
Cheers, Cobber. Okay, let's get down to business, shall we?
You buy my way out of here, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
Your fine has been paid. Now tell me about Kemartu, before the only Hammerfell around here will be mine, on your head.
Very well. Kematu is west of Whiterun. It's an unassuming little cave called Swindler's Den. You realize if you set foot in there, you're never coming back out. They'll kill you. But that's your problem, not mine. Guard! My fine's been paid, now set me free!
Now, with this information, we can go to the town of Rorikstead and into the inn, where we can find the original Alik'r warriors that we spoke to within the city of Whiterun.
Do you have news of our quarry?
Quarry? I know nothing about stone, but I have seen the woman that you were looking for.
You have? Where? Tell me now.
What do I get for telling you?
Money, if that is what you wish. Now tell me where she is.
She is in the Bannered Mare, and she knows that you're out here.
We cannot go after her. Not without drawing attention. You must bring her to us. Lead her to the Whiterun stables, outside of the city. We will wait for you there. We will find her eventually.
Now, I don't like these guys, so let's go suss out Kematu in Swindler's Den instead. Now, deep in the tundra plains of Whiterun, we can find the cave known as Swindler's Den. Interestingly, standing guard out front is an orc bandit and not an Alik'r warrior. But when we head inside, we'll have some light shed on this, cast by an overheard conversation.
I'm not sure I like these Alik'r warriors hiding out here. They seem like trouble.
Keep it to yourself. They're not paying us to talk. They'll be gone as soon as they've found whoever they're looking for, and we'll have all the more corn.
So it seems these bandits have agreed to let the Alik'r stay in this cave, no doubt in exchange for money. Although, the bandits don't seem too happy about it. Anyway, further into the cave we'll come through this flooded area and meet this Alik'r platoon.
Alik'r, hold! You've proven your strength, warrior. Let's avoid any more bloodshed. I think you and I have some things to talk about. Stay your hand, warrior. It's no secret why you're here, and you have proven your skill in combat. Let us talk a moment, and no one else needs to die. I think we can all profit from the situation in which we find ourselves. My men will not attack you if you will lower your weapons.
Hi, I've been sent here to kill you.
Of course, sent by... What is it that she's calling herself these days? Shazra? Saadia? One of those, correct? Did she appeal to your sense of honor? Your greed? A more base need, perhaps? It doesn't matter. No doubt she's convinced you that she's the victim. But do you know why we pursue her?
Now we're going to go down the Saadia route for now. I was hired to kill you, and that's just what I intend to do.
I'd hoped we could work something out. That you would see reason. That we could avoid having to kill you. Very well then. If that's the way you want to play it, we will. Never should have come here.
So, now we fight and defeat Kematu and his Alik'r warriors. Once that is done, we'll head back to Saadia in the Bannered Mare in Whiterun and tell her of our actions.
Any news of the Alik'r?
The Alik'r won't trouble you anymore.
At last, I can rest safely. You have done me a great service, warrior. I cannot thank you enough. Take this reward. I managed to sneak some of my wealth out of Hammerfell when I left. It's the least I can do. For now, I will maintain my ruse here. You are always welcome in the Bannered Mare.
Well, that's rather uneventful. Now, let's explore the other pathways in which this quest can lead. So let's rewind back to Kematu in the cave.
Alik'r, hold! You've proven your strength, warrior. Let's avoid any more bloodshed. I think you and I have some things to talk about. What do you need? Stay your hand, warrior. It's no secret why you're here, and you have proven your skill in combat. Let us talk a moment, and no one else needs to die. I think we can all profit from the situation in which we find ourselves. My men will not attack you if you will lower your weapons.
Tell me, why are you after Saadia?
She sold the city out to the Aldmeri Dominion. Were it not for her betrayal, Tanith could have held its ground in the war. The other noble houses discovered her betrayal, and she fled. They want her brought back alive. The resistance against the Dominion is alive and well in Hammerfell, and they want justice.
Interesting. Well, I've been sent here to kill you.
Of course. Sent by... What is it that she's calling herself these days? Shazra? Saadia? One of those, correct? Did she appeal to your sense of honor? Your greed? A more base need, perhaps? It doesn't matter. No doubt she's convinced you that she's the victim. But do you know why we pursue her?
Saadia told me that you're assassins.
Assassins? No, nothing so crass. Saadia, as you know her, is wanted by the noble houses of Tanith for treason. We were hired to see her return to Hammerfell for her crimes. You can help us with that. And make sure no one else gets hurt.
What was her crime?
She sold the city out to the Aldmeri Dominion. Were it not for her betrayal, Tanith could have held its ground in the war. The other noble houses discovered her betrayal, and she fled. They want her brought back alive. The resistance against the Dominion is alive and well in Hammerfell, and they want justice.
So, tell me, Kematu, what do you want me to do?
She trusts you, at least to some extent. She sent you after us, and has no reason to think that you'd do anything other than that. Convince her that we'll be coming for her, and she needs to leave. Lead her to the stables outside Whiterun. We'll be waiting to take her into custody. I'll gladly share a portion of the bounty in return for your efforts in seeing proper justice done.
All right, I'll do it.
Good. We'll be waiting for you at the stables. It will be good to finally be able to return home. Good afternoon.
It is a nice afternoon, isn't it? So, now we'll head back to Whiterun, and to the Bannered Mare, and speak with Saadia.
Any news of the Alik'r?
I got some bad news, mate. I was unable to defeat them all, and now they're coming for you. Oh no, what to do?
What? How? I thought they weren't allowed within the city.
Good point. Well, they found a way in, so we need to get you out of here.
But where will I go? I can't keep running forever.
There's a horse waiting at the stables. I'll make sure you're safe.
After all this, I have to pick up and leave again? If you really think this is the only way, I trust you. Let's not waste any time. Until next time.
So now we'll run out of the city to the stables next to Whiterun, where a series of events can unfold. Firstly, we can hand her over to Kematu.
We meet at last, my dear lady.
What is this? What have you done?
Oh, come now. You didn't really expect to manipulate people forever, did you? Your luck had to run out sometime.
Damn, son, she hit the deck harder than a Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Now we'll take our friend here back to Hammerfell, where she will pay the price for her treason.
She won't be harmed, will she? Not that I actually care.
Not on the way back. Once she gets there, it's not up to me to decide what's done with her. And as for you, I owe you a portion of the reward, don't I? Well, here you go. Spend it wisely, and if I may, don't allow yourself to be fooled by a pretty face. You're better than that.
I am? Well, obviously I sided with you, and you do not have a pretty face. Saadia will now lie here paralyzed until we leave the area. Upon returning, both Kematu and Saadia will be gone, back to Hammerfell.
All right then.
See you, mate. Now, there are actually 3 other outcomes of this. We can lead Saadia to the stables, then kill her. Kematu will not be happy.
All that effort and you just kill her? You've ruined everything.
This will also give us no reward. Now, we can lead Saadia to the stables and kill Kematu before he paralyzes her. There, now you're safe.
You liar! How could you do that to me?
I didn't want to risk you not coming.
A risky game to play, friend. But now Kematu's gone, and the rest of his snakes should slither back to their desert. I can go back to my life for now. And I have you to thank for it. I won't forget this.
See you, mate. Or we can lead Saadia to the stables and let Kematu paralyze her. Then we can collect the reward from him.
You're better than that.
And then kill Kematu. Now, for whatever reason in the game's scripting, Saadia will wake up from her paralysis and be hostile towards us. Again, this seems to be a scripting bug and not some weird plot-thickening event. But we can actually use a calm humanoid spell on her, and then talk with her, and then collect the reward from her also for killing Kematu, doubling our money.
You are always welcome in the Bannered Mare. Until next time.
So that's all the different ways this quest can end. I would also like to say that I did this entire questline with a female Redguard character, and there were no extra lines of dialogue or anything interesting with any of the interactions throughout the entire questline. So with everything explorable from the quest out of the way, let's get into the meat about who is lying and who is telling the truth. So, Saadia claims that she spoke out against the Aldmeri Dominion within Hammerfell, which led to her having to run away from Hammerfell in fear of the Third Aldmeri Dominion. Now, she claims that Kemartu is an assassin or agent sent by this very Aldmeri Dominion that she spoke out against, and that he has been sent here to capture her. Now, keep in mind that Kemartu is a Redguard and an Alik'r, along with his Alik'r warriors. That's a very important point we'll get to in a second. Now, on the other side of the coin, Kematu claims that Saadia sold out the city of Taneth in Hammerfell to the Third Aldmeri Dominion, leading to the city being taken by the Aldmeri Dominion. Now, Kematu and his Alik'r warriors are hunting Saadia to bring her back to justice for her betrayal of her people and Hammerfell. So there are arguments for both sides, but in my opinion, one story lines up with current lore almost entirely, while the other manages to line up almost not at all. So the major issue here is Saadia's story, quite frankly, doesn't make any sense. She claims that Kematu and his Alik'r warriors are assassins sent by their masters of the Aldmeri Dominion. Now, if you know anything about current Elder Scrolls lore, particularly the current standings of politics and provinces, you will probably know that Hammerfell and its people, the Redguards, hate the Aldmeri Dominion. You can learn all of this and more by reading the in-game book called The Great War, but I'm going to paraphrase and make it sound cooler. And also not paraphrase because we're going way in depth here. Now, at the end of the Great War between the Imperial Empire and the Third Aldmeri Dominion, the Empire's leader, Imperial Emperor Titus Mede II, signed the White Gold Concordat. In essence, this was a peace treaty between the two warring factions. But it came with exceptionally unfavorable terms for the Imperial Empire. Now, importantly for this video, part of the terms of the White Gold Concordat was that Hammerfell would be denounced as a province of the Empire and handed over from the Empire to the Aldmeri Dominion, with, of course, no say from Hammerfell or its people. Naturally, the Redguards who were fighting on the side of the Imperial Empire during the Great War saw this as betrayal, and rightfully so. Again, quite naturally, just as the Stormcloaks do in Skyrim, all of Hammerfell rejected this and refused to bow down to the very faction that they had fought against in the Great War, the Third Aldmeri Dominion. Now, this forced the Empire to have to denounce Hammerfell as a province of the Empire as to keep to the terms of the White Gold Concordat, but Hammerfell did not come peacefully. It's kind of like in Game of Thrones when Daenerys sells her dragon to the slaver to get the Unsullied. Technically, the trade was made, But that dragon was not happy. Well, in the Elder Scrolls, Hammerfell is that dragon, and it kicked back hard. This led to the Aldmeri Dominion warring with Hammerfell for another 5 years after the Great War had already ended, as the Redguard people resisted the attempts of the Thalmor to take over their province. And eventually, after 5 long years, the war within Hammerfell was stopped when the Second Treaty of Stros Makai was signed, which essentially was an agreement that the Aldmeri Dominion and Hammerfell would stop fighting, and all Aldmeri forces would leave Hammerfell, and Hammerfell would remain a free province. Now, this means that Hammerfell is currently not part of the Empire, and it is also, very importantly, not part of the Aldmeri Dominion. Not only that, but the people of Hammerfell hate the Aldmeri Dominion. Think of the Stormcloaks within Skyrim, then multiply that hatred. That's how the Alik'r and the people of Hammerfell feel about the Aldmeri Dominion and the Thalmor. Now, this goes deeper, as the Redguards have an inbuilt spite and malice towards the Mer races, the Mer being the Elves, of course. Now, this goes very far back, as the Redguards originally came from the continent of Yokuda, at which point they were known as Yokudans. There they lived with a now extinct race, the Left-Handed Elves. Now, both the Yokudans and the Left-Handed Elves are actually from the previous Kalpa cycle, and stepped through timelines by moving at strange angles and using a technique known as the walkabouts. It's all very strange, and you should definitely check out my full video on the Left-Handed Elves if such things interest you. Anyway, the Left-Handed Elves and the Redguard's ancestors, the Yokudans, warred for thousands of years. Eventually, the Yokudan Ragada used the forbidden Pankratos sword ritual, eradicating the Left-Handed Elves and likely leading to the sinking of their entire continent of Yokuda. With their homeland now destroyed, the Yokudans, the ancestors of the Redguards, migrated east to Tamriel, where they landed in Hammerfell. And do you know what they found in Hammerfell? They found more elves, the Ailids. Well, the Yokudans brought with them their seething hatred of elves, and they slaughtered every last Ailid in the province. Even to this day, modern Redguards refuse to talk about the Left-Handed Elves, as it only serves to darken their days. And they still carry with them this underlying historical disdain for elves. I mean, honestly, you thought the Nords were racist. They ain't nothing compared to the Redguards, and don't even get me started on the Dunmer. Hell, even the Argonians are genocidal. Honestly, the Nords and their over-mythologized xenophobia, they are G-rated Disney characters when compared to the other races of Tamriel. But back to the Redguards, they hate elves. So, we then stack on top of this the recent attempted acquisition and 5-year war of and within Hammerfell, performed by none other than the ever-invasive elvish folk of the Third Aldmeri Dominion, the Thalmor. So, ask yourself this. Would a Redguard faction of Hammerfell, such as the Alik'r warriors, be working with or for the Aldmeri Dominion in modern-day Tamriel? Not a bloody chance, mate. I've got a better chance of hitting 1 million subscribers this year, and that ain't happening. Don't agree? Well, prove me wrong. Subscribe, you chumps. So anyway, this Alik'r/Thalmor duo that Saadia is accusing Kematu of, there's not a flaming slither of a chance. Now, on top of this, there is a very rare book that can be found within the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. It can be found in like 2 or 3 locations, and you probably haven't read it or even found it. It's called Flight from the Thalmor. Dearest reader, the work you are about to experience has been copied and duplicated so that the story it relates can be spread throughout the Empire. But make no mistake, this is not a work of fiction. The events chronicled in this account are all true. were originally documented in a private journal, which now remains safely guarded in the House of Quills in Hammerfell, and occurred not more than a year before this book was printed. Signed Arshad ibn Khaled, High Scribe, House of Quills, Hammerfell. Now the rest of the book is the recount of a Nord bard named Hadric Oakenheart, who after the Great War sung a song about Talos in Markarth and was then abducted by the Thalmor and transported to a secret concentration camp and killed. Essentially, it's a diary detailing the horrific actions of the Thalmor. So this book being transcribed and copied is basically propaganda against the Thalmor. Now this text that tarnishes the Thalmor's reputation is kept and guarded and protected within the House of Quills in Hammerfell. The House of Quills being a library where books, scripts, scrolls, and knowledge is safeguarded. Now not only is it kept there, but it is actively being copied and printed as so the true and current heinous deeds of the Thalmor can be spread throughout Tamriel, as to tarnish the reputation of the Third Aldmeri Dominion and the Thalmor. And which province is doing this? Which province and its people hate the Aldmeri Dominion so much that they would replicate this diary? Hammerfell, modern day Hammerfell. They hate the Aldmeri Dominion and the Thalmor. If Hammerfell and its people were pro-Aldmeri Dominion, they would burn this diary immediately. Yet, they are doing the complete opposite. So, be honest with yourself, if not with me. Would these Hammerfellian warriors, the Alik'r, be working as agents for the Thalmor? By Talos? God no. Hammerfell isn't even under Aldmeri rule. The Alik'r fought valiantly for 5 years after the Great War to make sure that they stayed free from the bounds of the elvish folk, the Thalmor. Their sacrifice was great, and the reward is their freedom from the Dominion. So by all 9 divines, and all 10 just to include the lost god of creation Lorkhan, as if the Alik'r of all people would be working with the Thalmor, let alone as agents for the Dominion. This premise alone has less legs to stand on than the mythical coral sea serpent of the Abyssian. Also, Saadia says that Kematu and his Alik'r warriors are assassins working for the Aldmeri Dominion. Really? Are we to believe this? Factions aside, the logistics of this are tremendously grand. Think about this. Who is the most established, successful and powerful guild or group of assassins within the Elder Scrolls? The Dark Brotherhood. Now the Dark Brotherhood, even with the power of Sithis, have like 6 members. But oh, these previously non-assassin Alik'r warriors now work for the enemy faction in a big assassin gang 3 times the size of the Dark Brotherhood? Pfft, get out of town. Also, the Thalmor have a huge presence in Skyrim. And how often do we see Thalmor sending Nords or groups of other people to go and do their business? Never. Everything the Thalmor do is done by the Thalmor. They have agents everywhere. We can find their holdings in multiple cities. They even have the Thalmor embassy. They have their greedy fingers in factions. They have an entire castle at Northwatch Keep. Their agents can be seen walking all over the place. Why would they not just find Saadia themselves? They have the authority, they have the lore, they have the means, they have the power, they have the numbers, they have the intel, they have the resources. They sure have all of the means necessary to find Saadia, and all of the things they need to do so. They sure have a hell of a lot more than a band of Alik'r warriors who aren't even allowed into a city, and have to hide in a cave with a group of bandits. I mean, if they were working with the Dominion, they would have been put up in the Thalmor embassy, they would have been given resources and soldiers and justicars. All of the things they don't have. Honestly, there is not a speck of evidence that Kematu and his Alik'r warriors are working with or for the Aldmeri Dominion. Now, Saadia is also a Redguard, so you might be thinking, well, if the Alik'r wouldn't work with the Aldmeri Dominion, why would this Redguard woman? Which is a fair enough question, but easily answered. What is more likely? One person making a deal with the enemy faction during a war and selling out a city for wealth, or an entire army of soldiers who spent 5 years liberating their homeland of the Aldmeri Dominion have now mysteriously joined that very enemy faction after succeeding in repelling them. Obviously, the more likely option would be that the single person sold out a city over an entire army flipping sides. To put it in Skyrim terms, what's more likely, a single Nord turning coat and working for the Thalmor, or the entire Stormcloak army consciously and actively flipping sides and working for the Thalmor? Unquestionably, the single person betraying their people is infinitely more likely and more simple. There's no way in hell the Stormcloak army would ever join the Thalmor. Well, that same feeling applies to the Alik'r, except the Alik'r have even more reason to hate the Thalmor than the Stormcloaks do. So, Saadia sure as heck seems to be the one telling fibs, weaving webs of cowpat. Now, Saadia claims to be from the noble Hammerfellian family of Saadia. Well, I looked into this and there is no mention of this family in any in or out of game source for the Elder Scrolls, so there is zero evidence of it existing. Not to say it doesn't exist, but in regards to backing these claims of her, there is absolutely zero proof. She also pays us with gold, as many people do, but she claims that this gold was part of her family's wealth that she took before she had to flee Hammerfell. But this gold is more likely a cut of the payment she got from the Aldmeri Dominion for selling out her city of Taneth. Also, she has this rather gruesome series of scars across her face. Now, anyone can get a scarred face, of course. But, generally speaking, would a noble woman be likely to get scarring like this? Definitely not. But would someone who tumbles through dark alleys, a vagabond, a stalker of shadows, and a skulker in the sewers of social culture, the kind of person to, oh, I don't know, sell out her city in exchange for wealth? Would someone of that ilk be likely to get scars on their face, as we see here on Saadia? Well, I don't know about likely, but it's a hell of a lot more likely than a noble woman getting these scars. I feel that Saadia is a downtrodden ruffian who felt no sense of pride for Taneth and its people, as it had provided nothing for her but a hard life that literally scarred her, making the decision to sell her city out in exchange for riches easy. Now let's look at Kematu, shall we? Now some people use this line of dialogue from the Alik'r prisoner as proof that Kematu is up to no good, or that he is a dangerous man, or that he cannot be trusted.
You have a death wish then? If you know that name, you must know to meet him would be to meet your end.
And while it does sound kind of menacing, it's not reflected at all with our interactions with him. In fact, he's actually quite civil, calm, well-spoken, logical, non-threatening, and convincing. And if he were a Thalmor agent, knowing his name wouldn't mean anything. He's here on official Aldmeri business, abiding by all the laws. However, if he is an Alik'r warrior, in defiance of the Aldmeri Dominion, he'd be laying low as possible in Skyrim, which is exactly what he's doing. So in this sense, knowing who he is a massive deal and very dangerous for Kematu, which would lead to this line of dialogue.
You have a death wish then? If you know that name, you must know to meet him would be to meet your end.
Also, remember at the start of the game, our character was caught crossing the border. And just for this, we are sentenced to death. Well, imagine how a band of 10 or so Alik'r warriors would be treated if discovered sneaking into Skyrim. That's where they're hiding in a cave full of bandits, from their fear of the Dominion, not because they represent it. Also, in the dialogue that he shares when he sees Saadia, it sounds completely genuine and directed straight at her.
Oh, come now. You didn't really expect to manipulate people forever, did you? Your luck had to run out sometime.
And it only makes sense within the context of her being a manipulative traitor to Hammerfell, Also, when he thanks us, he says don't fall for a pretty face.
Spend it wisely, and if I may, don't allow yourself to be fooled by a pretty face. You're better than that.
Further backing up that he is genuine and honest in what he has told us, and he's now finally caught the sweet-tongued, pretty-faced, manipulative traitor of her people, Saadia, after she had used those very traits to weasel her way through Tamriel. Now this line, "don't fall for a pretty face," also calls out what most players would choose, that being to side with Saadia. Which is totally understandable, because at base face value, who do we side with? A lone, attractive woman seemingly in danger, or a gang of rugged desert warriors hiding in a bandit cave? Well, I think most people would choose the woman, again, just at base face value. But after doing a lot of digging, it's quite clear that Saadia is in fact the only venomous snake slithering around these parts. Now the biggest flaw or point of contestation with Kematu's story is that he claims Saadia sold out the city of Taneth during the war, which I would imagine is the war that raged on in Hammerfell after the Great War, as that is when the Aldmeri Dominion had a presence in Hammerfell. Now the Great War ended in the 4th era, year 175, after the White Gold Concordat was signed, of course. And the war in Hammerfell ended 5 years later, in the 4th era, year 180, after the Second Treaty of Stros-Makai was signed, of course. Now the events of the game, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, take place in the 4th era, year 201. So the war in Hammerfell ended 21 years before the current timeline that we experience in The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Now the thing about Saadia is that she looks pretty young, in her 20s, in her 30s. Well, the war in which Kematu claims that she sold out her city of Taneth in was 21 years ago. People say that this means Kematu is lying, as she would have had to have been a child or a young teenager at the time, which is very unlikely, but still possible for a child or teenager to sell out a city. Or, what I believe to be more likely is that she simply looks young for her age. She just looks younger than she actually is. And you might think that sounds silly as a reason, but my friend in real life, her mum looks the same age as my friend does, and my friend's 2 sisters. When the 4 of them are together, they look like 4 sisters, despite there being a good 20-30 year difference between them. But her mum genuinely looks 30 years old, when she is in fact middle-aged. Or Jared Leto, that guy looks like he's in his 20s or his 30s, but he's 48. You know, these people do exist, and Saadia could very well be one of them. And even if Kematu is lying about Saadia, she knows who he is and that he is after her, and her story makes no sense at all, so at the very least she's also lying and is guilty of something that the Alik'r seek to bring her to justice for. Now the other point of contestation is the remains of Saadia that appear in the halls of the dead within Whiterun. So, if you kill Saadia, her remains appear in the halls of the dead in Whiterun, just as any other members of the city's remains would do. But if you hand her over to Kematu, he'll paralyze her and take her away, and then a few days later her remains will appear in the halls of the dead in Whiterun. Now this has led people to conclude that, oh, he must have lied to us and then killed her, which I don't know why they think that. When we ask Kematu if Saadia will come to harm or not, he says it's not up to him and that she will face trial in Hammerfell. So she could very likely have been killed after being found guilty of selling out the city of Taneth. And again, for some reason, people use this as a point to go, Kematu is a liar. Well, I don't think he is. Another muse alley that people love to tread down is that Kematu paralyzed her, carried her away, and then killed her himself, as his story is a ruse. Okay, let's say that this is the case. He takes her into the wilderness, kills her, then what? Magically Whiterun knows about it and her remains appear in the halls of the dead? I really don't think so. Surely if Kematu did this, he'd hide her body. And even if he didn't hide her body, considering how many skeletons and dead bodies we can find lying around Skyrim in quite plain and clear sight, I don't think anyone is finding and collecting bodies at all, let alone taking the remains back to the appropriate city. So why do her remains appear in Whiterun? Well, simply, this is a scripting error within the game, as Saadia is labelled as a citizen of Whiterun. So as far as the game is concerned, she belongs in Whiterun. Once she is removed from the game after handing her over to Kematu, the game's script goes, well, this citizen of Whiterun is missing from Whiterun, therefore equals dead, which then spawns her burial urn within the Halls of the Dead within Whiterun. But we can make it work within the lore, which we'll get to in a second. But I want to go back for a second, as at the start of the game, if we make a Redguard character, the Legion soldier will say this.
What are you doing here, Redguard? You a sellsword? A sailor from Stros Mackay? Captain, what should we do? She's not on the list.
Forget the list. She goes to the block.
By your orders, Captain. I'm sorry. We'll make sure her remains are returned to Hammerfell. Follow the captain, prisoner.
After our execution, our remains will be sent back to Hammerfell, just as I'd imagine the people of Whiterun would do with Saadia's, should they come across them. Now, as mentioned, if we want to make this bug fit into the lore, it's quite simple. If Kematu is telling the truth, then Saadia will be taken back to Hammerfell, found guilty as a traitor, I would imagine, and probably be killed for her transgressions. Now, Hammerfell wouldn't want to keep the remains of this traitorous woman, so they'd send them somewhere else. Say, the last place she lived and called home, that being Whiterun. Therefore, after her death in Hammerfell, her remains are sent back to Whiterun. Now, if Kematu is lying and works for the Dominion, which there's a 0% chance of, but if this is the case, Saadia will be taken back to Hammerfell, found guilty as a treasonist against the Dominion, and I'd imagine killed for her transgressions. Now again, if Hammerfell is chummy with the Dominion, which it isn't, but if it were, Hammerfell wouldn't want to keep the remains of this traitorous woman, so they'd send them somewhere else. Say, the last place she lived and called home, that being Whiterun. Therefore, after her death in Hammerfell, her remains are sent back to Whiterun. So, lying or not, Kematu taking her away and then her remains appearing in the Halls of the Dead in Whiterun, to me at least, totally makes sense within the lore. So there's a lot to take in there, and to me at least, one story holds water quite well, while the other holds less water than the Alik'r desert itself. So there are some oddities and possible inconsistencies with Kematu's story. However, there are only inconsistencies and entirely incorrect premises when it comes to Saadia's story. For that reason, I do believe that she is the one lying. She sold out her city of Teneth to the third Aldmeri Dominion, and Kematu and his band of Alik'r warriors have come to Skyrim to gain custody of her and bring her to justice. So, I do hope you have enjoyed the journey and the discovery of this seemingly ambiguous quest that we find ourselves thrown into right at the start of Skyrim. I am genuinely very interested to hear your thoughts on Kematu and Saadia, and who is lying and why. Is Kematu an Aldmeri agent? Is Saadia an innocent noble's daughter? Is Kematu an honorable Alik'r warrior seeking justice? Or is Saadia a lying snake that sold out her city? Such questions are all in a day's work when it comes to investigating the Elder Scrolls series and its many strange stories. So I do hope that you have learnt something new about the beautifully mad universe that these wonderful games take place in, the Elder Scrolls. Now, if you do have any information, facts, evidence, speculation, theories, or anything in Redguards to what we have investigated in this video, be sure to leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what you have to say about this. Now, if you do have any ideas for something that should be covered in the Elder Scrolls Detective series, be sure to let me know. I'll look into whatever strange and wonderful topics you present. And if you did enjoy this video, please do me a kindness and leave a like. Leave a comment with your Elder Scrolls Detective ideas and your thoughts on our Redguard friends Saadia and Kematu. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos similar to this one, please subscribe. It helps me know that you enjoy this kind of content and will result in more of it in the long run. So be sure to click the little bell icon next to the subscribe button right here on YouTube, so you are notified when new Elder Scrolls Detective videos are uploaded. Now, my other Elder Scrolls Detective videos that I've already done can be found via the playlist link down in the description. Now, down there in the old description, you can also find all of my social media links. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, along with joining our brand new Discord server. I very much look forward to seeing you there and discussing theories surrounding this video and its contents and conclusions. Now, if you would like to support the channel in a more personal way, you can become a patron on Patreon or support the channel right here on YouTube by clicking the join button. As I'm sure you know, all of my time and energy goes into making these videos that I create for you to enjoy. So your support is most genuinely appreciated and welcomed in any and all forms. So please leave a like, leave a comment and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, thank you for supporting my channel. I've been Camel and I will see you very shortly in the next video. I'll see you there soon.